Amy's pupils began to split. A younger, more beautiful version of herself crawled out of her body. Amy used to be a superstar, but now that she had aged, all she could do to make a living was host a low-budget aerobics show. One day, while she was in the restroom, she overheard her boss talking about replacing her with a younger, prettier woman. That same evening, she received an official notice of termination. On her way home, she saw workers taking down her billboard. Distracted and upset, she got into a car accident. Thankfully, her injuries weren't serious. During the checkup, her attending physician looked at her chart and mentioned that it was her 50th birthday. Amy broke down in tears. The doctor, seeing her state, gently touched her spine and slipped something into her hand before walking away. Outside the hospital, Amy reached into her pocket and found a USB drive. Wrapped around it was a small note that read, "He changed my life." Back home, she plugged the USB into her computer. A video played explaining that with a single injection, she could create a younger version of herself. But there was a catch. Both versions couldn't exist awake at the same time. They would have to take turns, switching bodies every 7 days. At first, Amy didn't take it seriously and tossed the USB into the trash. But later that night, sitting alone in a bar and watching beautiful young women laugh and dance, she couldn't stop thinking about her past self. She went home, dug the USB out of the garbage, and dialed the number listed on it. She ordered the perfect substance. The next day, a package arrived. Inside was an address and an access card labeled 503. She went to the location immediately. In a sterile white room inside locker 503 was the item she had purchased. Once home, she injected the substance into her body. Moments later, she felt dizzy, collapsed to the ground, and began convulsing. Her pupils started to split again. And then, from her own body, a stunningly beautiful woman emerged. Looking in the mirror, the woman realized she was gorgeous, but she wasn't the original Amy. She was a split entity with Amy's memories. She named herself Anna. Once everything was ready, Anna decided to audition for the same aerobics show. With her flawless figure, she got the job immediately. She only asked for one condition, that she be allowed to leave town every 7 days to take care of her ailing mother. Her boss agreed without hesitation. Soon, Anna's face was back up on the billboards. As the 7th day approached, Anna brought a man home late at night, but just as things were heating up, she felt dizzy and started bleeding again. She rushed to the bathroom. She didn't want to go back to her old body, so she made a bold decision. She extracted 1 extra dose of stabilizer and injected it into herself. Instantly, she looked perfect again. She returned to the living room and continued her night with the man. The next morning, Amy woke up in a mess. The room was trashed, and there was a note taped to the window. As she reached for it, she recoiled in horror. Her fingers had aged. She suspected Anna had broken the rules. Amy immediately called the company to ask whether there was any cure for overuse or exceeding the time limit. But the person on the line simply replied, "As long as you respect the balance, there will be no complications." Then they hung up. While tidying up, Amy saw Anna on TV hosting the fitness show. Rage filled her. A few days later, Amy received another shipment of the drug. On her way home, she stopped by a restaurant and encountered a strange old man. She noticed a red scar on his hand, the same kind of access card, and a scar on the back of his neck. He was the same doctor who had given her the USB. He had come to meet her on purpose. His message was clear.
Ya empezó, ¿verdad? ¿Sientes que te come por dentro?